A moral battle at the Minnesota State Capitol. From vandalism on the front lawn to boys and girls sports, we take a look behind the scenes to see what's at stake in the final days of the legislative session. Next. Jeff Evans, the CEO of Minnesota Family Council, is my guest. Jeff, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Liz, for having me on.
Let's start there. For those who don't know, what is the Minnesota Family Council?
Well, Minnesota Family Council is a family policy council. They exist in almost every state in our country. We're independent of each other, but we still coordinate. We compare notes and such. And our task is to defend life, family, marriage, and religious liberty in the public square. We're nonpartisan advocates of the evangelical church and believers to keep them informed and engaged in all that's going on in each state. And for us here in Minnesota, we have various initiatives. We're involved in elections and policy development. We also have a legal arm called True North Legal with Renee Carlson. I believe she was on your show a while back. And the Church Ambassador Network, which is our pastoral initiative to reach out to churches and believers. We partner with lots of different people outside of the evangelical church. So our good friends at the Catholic Conference, we work with them on a lot of key issues. We don't always see eye to eye on everything, but they're good friends. We work with nonpartisan groups and non-religious groups as well, so MCCL, for instance. And we work outside the Christian faith. We actually defended some Somali Muslim moms in St. Louis Park through True North Legal a year ago. So we're willing to partner and work together with just about anybody, but our identity is, deeply evangelical and Christian. So that's Minnesota Family Council.
You do great work. And here we are. It's the end of April with the Minnesota legislative session scheduled to end on Monday, May 19th. It's been a wild ride already, to say the least. A little bit of a late start as well, with Democrats in the House boycotting for 3 weeks. But we do want to highlight a few issues that Minnesota Family Council has been involved with as the session finally got underway. First legislation to ban boys from competing in girls' sports came up short in the House last month. Now we have Attorney General Keith Ellison suing President Trump over his executive order. But will girls' sports in Minnesota ever really be protected, Jeff? What's the latest there?
Yeah, well, the latest, as far as the session goes right now, is we believe that the girls' sports issue is most likely not going to come back up again. It could. It's hard to know what plans people have, and so we stand vigilant, ready to deal with it if it does come up. Really, we advanced a House, it was House File 12, which was trying to protect K through 12 school athletics for female athletes here in Minnesota. So club sports, other things, we weren't talking about that. Those are important areas that should be talked about. But we were able to keep some of the radical agenda from being passed. There was this Protect Women's Sports bill that was tabled. It can come back this session if needed. It could come back next year if needed. So I think we're in a decent position to protect women's sports, but long term, whether or not we're able to protect against the ideology that's out there is really going to depend upon people who are watching here today. Are you willing to be involved, informed, engage? And it will only be protected insofar as men and women are willing to stand up and say that women are important and girls are important, and the sports teams and the true ERA from the past that valued women's sports, that's important to us, and we don't allow the redefinition of what it means to be a woman. And what it means to be a man or a boy and a girl. So it really depends on Minnesotans stepping up to the plate. We're here for them. We're going to encourage them. Right now we're in a pretty good position, but we will continue to fight this battle diligently, and we need people to support it. So that's kind of the current state of things.
On that note, the ERA, you refer to it as the so-called Equal Rights Amendment. This year's proposal included a constitutional protection for abortion, once again, so-called gender identity or gender expression. And again, the ERA does not include any protection for religious freedom. Identical legislation, we know, must pass both chambers. Doesn't sound like that will be going anywhere again this session, correct?
Yeah, same thing. We don't believe that there's a way forward, but there are always surprises in May, and so we stand by, ready to do whatever we need to protect that. And it goes back to, are Minnesotans aware? A lot of people can't believe that we're even talking about these things, that this is a live issue here in the state. And there are a lot of people who are legitimately confused. They think, oh, ERA, who could be against that? Well, it's the redefinition of the ERA. We are lockstep in favor of protecting women and not confusing the category. And this is really the debate, whether it's in women's sports or the ERA. Are we willing to exchange the definition that we've used up until now, the definition of what it is to be a woman or to be a girl, and swap it out for something else? And so we don't want to erase women and girls from our state statutes. We want to protect them. And incidentally, you can see throughout history how well society is doing in how it protects women and children, especially girls. And so we want to be on the front line of that. And we're proud to do it. We're excited to do it. And we know there are a lot of confused people out there, but we'd love to contend with them in a good way.
Let's talk now about the governor's proposed cuts to non-public schools. Alpha News has done some reporting. Walz is proposing to eliminate $109 million in state support for non-public school students over the next 2 years. It's going to slash state aid that typically covers transportation, textbooks, school nurses, guidance counselors at non-public schools. Families have been mobilizing, we've seen, in opposition. But what has the Minnesota Family Council been doing to help lead the charge here?
We've been working, again, this is a team effort. We've been working with other organizations as well. MCC is doing great work on this, for instance. I don't have the details right in front of me, but they're going to be having a rally very soon, so I'd point you to that. So this is a team effort. We need to work together on it. And who gets the credit? We don't care. We just want to help parents make the wisest choices that they need to for their kids and their education. And one of the big concerns that we have is that this proposed cut is really going to hurt those who are most vulnerable in our society, those who are really eking it out to make ends meet, and they're trying to find the best educational opportunities for their kids. And now this is going to be, the rug is going to be pulled out from them, the busing reimbursement, for instance. And there's actually bipartisan opposition to what the governor's doing. And so this is not, don't think of this as a monolithic Republican, Democrat, conservative, progressive. There are people on both sides of the aisle who think this is a bad idea. And there are lots of partners that are associated with us who think this. So I think there's a good chance that we can stop this. It is not a good idea. I can understand the impulse to a degree, but it's really going to hurt people. And it's going to hurt parents being parents, which goes back to the earlier points, too. We want parents to be enabled to do the very best for their kids. And we think that not only means protecting girls and boys, and it also means enabling parents to use their money where they see fit and not be seeing that money reappropriated elsewhere that doesn't fit with their values or their desires. So,
your website mentions, Jeff, that the Capitol is an often overlooked mission field. Seems in a way that took on a new meaning this year. The Ten Commandments and a cross were destroyed on the Capitol lawn, and a satanic thank you to Governor Walz display was set up inside the Capitol. What have you been doing in response to all of this? I know you're helping pastors, their congregations get mobilized and get involved.
The bigger play that we're running here is, for a number of years now, I mentioned it earlier, we launched something called the Church Ambassador Network. And so we bring local pastors down to the Capitol every single day of the legislative session. And they meet with people on both sides of the aisle. It's not a show of force. It's really a personal connection of the local pastor with their legislator to get to know them, find out their needs and their cares, and to minister to them in the name of Jesus. And so we think that has far greater spiritual effect than displays in the Capitol. Those are oftentimes meant to provoke people and get them to take the bait and melt down and so forth. And so a lot of our work has been, don't take the bait, operate in the way that God would have you operate, which is leaning in and caring for the legislators who are down here. And then you and I were talking off camera about this. We do have a longer play, which is not ready for prime time yet, but been in discussion with a number of people of how to deal with this going forward. But one of the biggest things is don't be provoked and do the thing they're hoping you're going to do and just react and melt down. Think about what the larger thing that God would have you do. A little bit playfully, I would love for Governor Walz to renounce Satan and all of his works. I believe he's a baptized Lutheran, and part of the baptismal rite historically throughout churches at your baptism is this question of, do you renounce Satan? So the Satanists are asking him or telling him thank you. I'd love for him to say, well, no, thank you. Not for me. That would be consistent with perhaps his deeply held religious beliefs, but maybe not. So that's something people could ask. Are you in favor of this? The thank you that's there. It's a little cheeky. I don't mean disrespect to the governor with it, but it is a clash of religions. They're atheists, or they claim to be atheists, but interesting how you use Satan to push your point, and shows that we are not beyond religious debates in the public square or in the Capitol. People are using that to push forward some pretty important things that need to be discussed. So anyway.
Interesting point to make. Yes, we will keep waiting for a response. Excellent point, Jeff. I know you have an important spring gala coming up. It's Saturday, May 10th. Tell us what's in store that evening and where we can buy tickets.
Yeah, so May 10th, our annual dinner. This year the theme is, and get ready for it, it's really clever, the team's the theme. Being a little playful with that. But the work that we do at the Capitol and the work that our partners do is really, it's not just fascinating and encouraging to us, but when we're able to share it personally with others, it really revives people and encourages them to get in the battle and realize that it's not just us doing this up at the Capitol, it's really all Minnesotans who care about these issues. So it's an invitation for everybody to see we're on a team together, we're working hard together. Just because we're on the front lines doesn't mean that your everyday Minnesotan isn't deeply important in the things that we're working on. So it's an attempt to bring everybody up to speed with the things that are going on and how important everyone is. We have Hugh Hewitt, who's a good friend of our organization, coming in. He's one of the best interviewers in the business. He's going to be interviewing my team and myself on stage and really kind of asking the kind of questions that we think people in the audience will want to have asked, and draw people into that. People can find out more information at mfc.org, MFC as in Minnesota Family Council. So mfc.org/dinner 2025. Ticket prices are there. They're $125 right now, unless you're a pastor. Pastors get a discounted ticket along with their spouse. And it's at the Doubletree Hilton down in Bloomington. Doors open at 5:30. We'll be done by 8:30. It's May 10th. I know it's the day before Mother's Day, but we think this is a really good day, a really good venue, and a great speaker coming in. And so we would love to have people who are watching here sign up. This week is, next week, I suppose we can make some special exceptions, but this is the week to do it. So go to the website, mfc.org, and check it out.
Team's the theme. Love it. Again, Jeff Evans, the CEO of Minnesota Family Council. We're all on the team and happy to be. But thanks again for being here.
Thank you so much, Liz. Appreciate it.
That will do it for this episode of Liz Collin Reports. We'll see you next time.